welcome back to Delilah's Critters, otherwise known as Delilah Does What? Um, yeah, so I do lots of weird things. One of my husband's common observations of me is that I do a lot of weird things around the house, and a lot of it has to do with taking care of my animals. So, today I'm gonna get to show you what I do when I'm trying to increase tannins in my fish tanks. So tannins are very beneficial for fish and are naturally occurring in all natural water sources. So if you've ever gone to a park and there was a lake or a pond and you saw really brown water and you said, ew, that's disgusting. It's actually just fallen leaf debris, leaf litter, branches, dead plants, all of these organic materials build up in the water. They start to break down. So they very slowly break down into the water, creating tannins, very much like a tea would. I'm sure your tea tastes much better than a tannin tea in a pond, but there are a lot of the same health benefits that fish, all kinds of animals, get to enjoy from water with naturally occurring tannins. So, because I don't have pond water that I put in my fish tanks, also pond water can carry parasites, so please don't do that. I am going to show you how I get these items, these natural organic materials, how I prepare them for my fish tanks. I'll show you what the tank looked like before I put the new organic materials in and what it looked like 24 to 48 hours after I put those organic materials in, and you will see the difference in the water color. Some people are not a huge fan of tannins. You know, some people say it's dirty, it's gross, it looks dirty. They want this like super clear water. You can have clear water that has a tint to it. I don't associate tint with dirty at all. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that keeps your aquarium very balanced. So tannins are very important, and they're very important for the fish health, the health of their scales, their ability to heal if they brush up against something that's sharp in the tank and have a little abrasion. All of these things are oftentimes the bacterial infections you can get from these types of occurrences can be mitigated by just having tannins in your water and obviously doing regular water changes. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope this makes you say, Delilah does what? Because yeah, it's one of those things that I hear frequently in the house that, like, what are you doing now? That's the question I get. What are you doing now? So here's what I'm doing now.
So similarly to tea, we are going to start with a pot of water. So to make botanicals safe for your aquarium, you will first want to boil them. So boiling them does a couple of things. So first, it helps the botanicals absorb the water so that they actually sink in your tank versus floating. Here I have some leaves that I purchased from a local shop. The rest of the botanicals I will use are from Tannin Aquatics, which I purchased the Enigma pack. The Enigma pack was actually recommended for Apistos originally. The botanicals in that pack are native to the Amazon River, which will be perfect for the inhabitants of this particular tank. So as I begin to boil these, you're going to notice that I will actually start boiling the hardest pieces first. So the most dense pieces of botanicals are going to go in first. I'm probably going to boil for about 20 to 30 minutes in total. And so what I like to do is take the most dense, most difficult item to sink and start boiling that first, because when you boil something, you're actually beginning the decomposition process. So you don't want to overboil anything, but you want to boil them for enough time where you kill bacteria, parasites, any living organisms or harmful organisms that you may be adding to your tank. So I know I purchased these from a trusted retailer. However, a lot of people will collect items in their local forest, and so you don't want to introduce anything harmful to your tank. The second reason why people or why you will boil these first is because you want them to sink. So instead of just adding them to your tank and having them float for 5 days, you can actually speed up the process by doing a boil, killing any bacteria, and allowing it to sink. So now what you're seeing is a very golden colored water. And this is due to the tannins leaching a little bit faster because of the heat applied during this process, which is actually really important because you don't want to put these botanicals in your tank and then have all of these tannins leach really, really quickly, because that will actually drastically lower the pH of your water and can hurt your fish. So you want to make sure that the leaching of the tannins is a slow process. So we want to pull these initial tannins out really quickly, and then what's left in them is going to be a very nice slow release that you will lessen every time you do a water change. So here's the finished product, some beautifully boiled botanicals with the initial tannins leached out, and now we're going to put them in the tank. Here's a little clip of my river tank before I've added any of the new boiled botanicals in. So you'll notice this water is very clear, what people typically look for in a quote unquote clean fish tank. They're all, I mean, they have botanicals in there. The botanicals are just, they're a little bit older. They've been in there for about 2 years. And as I've slowly started to pick old decaying items out, I've noticed that the tannins are not leaching in as readily as they used to. So all of the inhabitants of this tank have different pH requirements, but they all have quite a broad, in my opinion, range of pH. I try to keep this tank anywhere from 6.4 to 6.6. The natural pH coming from my tap water is around a 7.4, so it's pretty high. So I really need to soften the water for my tropical fish, and I do so with these tannins. So this is what helps me maintain that for them naturally. The wood naturally releases these tannins, which softens the water and lowers the pH for me. And every time I do a water change, it bumps it up slightly, but the tannins being in the water all the time is what helps buffer that naturally. So there's never any too big of a pH swing for any of these fish. It's actually pretty interesting to watch this after I've done it, because now I see where the fish are very interested in what I'm doing and they're watching me intently. Some people just think of fish as throwaway pets. Sad, but true. And they really are cute little animals with interesting little personalities. So by now you've noticed that some of the botanicals are still floating. These are much denser materials, and they are going to float for probably about 24 hours until they soak up enough water to fall down to the bottom. So in conclusion, I hope that this has helped you understand a little bit about using natural materials in your tanks, how to prepare them so that it is safe for the fish in your tank, what type of fish to use it for, tropical freshwater fish. And I hope it's answered most of your questions regarding tannins, softening your water, lowering your pH, and making your water more acidic, like that of the Amazon River. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them below. Remember to hit that like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you feel like you have enjoyed my videos so far, and be sure to hit that notification bell to know when I release my next video. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some footage of the finished product here. All the hard work paid off, and I'm going to play some relaxing music, so feel free to hang out until the end. Either way, I will see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.